welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm the Clumsy Stitcher here on YouTube and over on Instagram. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about all things cross stitch and I show you projects that I've been working on for the last few weeks. If you are new here, a very warm welcome to you. I hope you're doing well and I hope that you like what you see. If you are returning, thank you very much for coming back. You may notice something a little bit different, I'm not sure. Basically, I got a new phone since we last spoke and I am now trying to film on the new phone, which has the better camera. I'm just not quite sure about any of the other settings. I don't know if the sound's going to be okay. I don't know if the film's going to be okay. I'm just kind of keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that this all works out quite well. My sister's also got me a ring light, so I'm now being blinded by this just a really bright light in my face, and so I really hope it all works. This is my first update of 2023. So my last video was my whip parade, which if you watched it, you'll know I filmed with my family in the room and it was quite rushed because it was between Christmas and New Year and we were trying to get a lot of stuff done. So I think I kind of wish I'd done it a bit better basically, but I'm really glad I filmed it and was able to go through all of my projects again because I was able to pick out stuff I'd actually not worked on all year. So it was just a good refresher of what I have, and I know that it's quite a good time to go through stuff and have a think about what you want to progress with. And I think none of the projects I want to UFO. I just want to make sure I'm spending enough time with them this year. But as you will see, I've already got 2 new starts under my belt, which are not small. So we'll see how all of these plans pan out. So this month, I showed this in my whip parade, but I have been using the stitching journal from Stitching Cabin and I've been absolutely loving it. I think the journal is absolutely fantastic. I'm really glad I got it in like paperback instead of, because I was debating just getting the PDF, but I'm really glad I've got it fully bound and all of that kind of stuff. So I've kind of been tracking what days I've been stitching in the month, what I've been working on, and then in the actual monthly pages as well you can do a proper whip tracker, so you can see that these are all of the projects that I've been working on this month, and then these are my 2 new starts. I also had some goals at the beginning of the month, and so we'll see how I've managed to get on with them. I do think I'm going to start this video a little bit ass about face, and I'm going to start it with haul because it kind of feeds everything, it all just feeds in together. But I know I spoke in my whip parade about a couple of Christmas presents I've received, and we'll get to them shortly, but there were a few things in between that I just wanted to show you, some other things that I got for Christmas. So I've been saying for ages that I've wanted to be a little bit more multi-craftual and do more than just cross stitch, because I made some of my project bags, so I've got the sewing machine to be able to do some of that. I'd love to give embroidery a go, and my mum also, a couple of years ago, we bought her a full set of the 12 Days of Christmas felt ornament pack, and a couple of years ago I was helping her with some of them and I really enjoyed that, so I'd love to give that more of a go. And I was speaking to my sister about this before Christmas, and so for Christmas she got me 3 embroidery patterns, so there will be a bit of glare, but there's one with a snowman, and all of the writing on this is basically telling you all of the different types of stitch that you do. So I've got a snowman, got a big Merry Christmas pattern, and then a reindeer as well. And then I'll put in screenshots of the felt patterns that she got me. I think they're so cute, so I'm really, really excited to give all of that a go. It is all obviously quite Christmassy, and I very rarely stitch stuff that is Christmassy when it's not Christmas, but I might see if I'll pull those out through the year, and if not, I'll work on them in December this year. God, I'm still getting so confused with my dates. So really excited to pick those out, and I was really, really grateful to her for getting me those. Something else I got for Christmas, which isn't stitchy related, but I thought other people watching this might enjoy, because I know people collect buttons, and normally for like finishing stuff, but my auntie basically raided my great granny's button box, which she's had for years and years and years, and she passed away quite a few years ago now, and my auntie's held on to them, and she basically turned one of the buttons into like a little flower, and I just thought it was so simple, but it's actually so effective because I just have it on like a little windowsill and it just looks so sweet, and it's literally just, there's a little button, I don't know if that will focus, yeah, and she's just drawn like basically a little leaf underneath, but it looks so sweet, and it's just thought some people might like that, because I know there may be a fair few of you that have got some buttons knocking around, you're not quite sure what to do with them. But yeah, just thought that was really, really quite sweet. My sister got one as well, and it was smaller buttons, and there were like three stalks with these 3 buttons, and it just looks really, really sweet. The 2 other Christmas presents I will get to, because obviously they are new starts for me this month. But I did, to house these Christmas presents, I did get a new project bag. I've been hoping to make a project bag for ages, but I just haven't had the time. And so I bought this one from Ness's Craft Room. So obviously vinyl covered, quilted on the inside. This is the fabric pattern. And then it's got a different one on the inside. It's got a little scissor fob. But yeah, it just looks really, really nice. I really love this fabric pattern. So yeah, really, really chuffed with that. It feels really good quality as well. And that's just Ness's Craft Room on Etsy. So I'll link that down below. The next thing I got were a couple of needle minders. These are from Botanical Craft Studio, and it's just because my project list is growing a bit, and I don't need to have a needle minder per project, but I was starting to run a bit low. So this is the first one I got, which is just a little cat in a cup. And I just thought it was really, really sweet. And then this is the next one, which I just thought was really pretty. Really, really like the pattern of that one. And it's quite big, and I quite like big needle minders. So like I say, they're from Botanical Craft Studio, also on Etsy, and I will link that shop down below. That is all of my haul from the past month. If you watch my WIP parade, you will also know that I received the 2023 and 2021 stitch-alongs from Modern Folk Embroidery from my husband, which I was really, really excited about. I've wanted the 2021 South since it came out, but was always a bit intimidated because I knew how much stitching was involved, because obviously having watched everybody stitch over the course of 2021 and say, oh my God, this is quite a lot of stitches, always felt a little bit concerned about starting a brand new project. So I mentioned that I'd received both of these in my WIP parade, and Catherine, who is at Paper Crane Stitches on Instagram, dropped me a message to say, what colours are you thinking of using? And this is always something that I've had a massive, not issue's the wrong word. Basically, I'm quite indecisive. And so deciding the colours stressed me out, and it's also another reason why I haven't bought or started the 2021 SAL, because I just got so stressed about choosing exactly the right colours and just making everything perfect. And when Jacob announced he was releasing the 2023 SAL, he said it's not a companion piece, but it's the same size as 2021 SAL, so you could kind of have them together if you wanted to. And I thought, oh my God, yes, that's amazing. So I thought, you know what, I'll start the 2023 style, I'll decide on my colours for that, and then if I like them, then I'll do the 2021 style in those colours as well. And so I picked out my colours, and obviously I was talking to Catherine about this, and it was really, really fun. I really, really loved chatting to her about it. And I have to say, the colours that she's picked as well are incredible. I would highly recommend you go and check out her picture on Instagram. It is absolutely gorgeous. But I was really indecisive about choosing colours, and then I was just kind of going through old threads I have in my stash, and I found a DMC in a really dark blue that I thought was just a gorgeous colour. And then because all of our walls in this room are grey, but I've got a big, I'll pop in a picture here, because for my 30th birthday my mum bought me a piece of art, a painting of the sea, basically, because I obviously absolutely love the sea. Like, this is the sea. There's a very sea theme in this room, essentially. And so I thought, well, if I stitch this in those kind of blues with a bit of grey, then it would fit quite well in our living room. And we've got a big blank wall just over there. And so I thought, well, why don't I do that? And so I picked my colours of DMC, and then really loved the colours, but was then a bit worried that if I stitched on a plain white fabric, it would look a little bit like my old school uniform, which I wasn't really keen for. And so I thought I would try a bit of a different linen. And I've seen this fabric on other people's Instagrams before. Sorry, I'm just folding it up so I can show it to you. And really, really loved it. And so I thought I would give it a go. So, right, I'll stop chatting now and actually just show you, because I feel like I've been chatting about this for ages. But the pattern is Reaching Skyward by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I'll put in a picture of what it will look like when it's done, because it's not a mystery stitch along, because there's lots of customizable elements. And so Jacob's released the whole picture. And then this is my progress on the January section. Sorry, I can bring it back a bit. So this fabric is absolutely incredible. It's a 32 count even weave in Stormy Clouds by Zweigart. It's one of their printed ones, so it's plain on the back. But I just really, really love the mottling. And then the two thread colours that I've used are DMC 823 and 415. And I was a little bit worried that the grey would blend in on this fabric, because they do kind of say that 415 is this grey, but it's coming up fine so far, even like this motif here. So yeah, I just think it already, I just think it looks so good. And I'm stitching this 2/2. This is where the January, because I'm stitching it in the monthly sections, and I've decided to basically come down the side like a typewriter almost, and then start going across so that I can see how far I get on each section. And it may be that I just scrap all that, because I know basically there's no way I'm keeping up with the stitch along, seeing as today is the 29th of January. And so I'm kind of deciding whether to just stitch down and stitch across and see how far I get, or I'll just start at the top and work down. Yeah, it will depend how I'm feeling on each day, I'm sure. But this is my first Modern Folk embroidery piece, and I'm so excited to finally start one, because I've loved Jacob's patterns for ages. But that is it. And it'll come out to about here as well. So it's a big, big piece. But I just think the fabric is fantastic. So I've been a bit worried about the coverage as well, because 2 strands over 32 count. And the thing is, I know it's fine. I think it's just because it's the dark blue on white, the white will show through really quite easily. And I love bulky coverage. But I was saying to Catherine, I have to remind myself that it's going to be up on the wall, so I'm not really going to see, like, you have to do the 3 foot test or 3 meter test or something, where you just have to hold it way back and remember that is what the view will be. So that's my start on that. I'm so chuffed that I know I didn't need another huge start, but I am so chuffed that I've started it, and I'm really, really loving stitching on it. And I forgot to say, this is the needle minder that I've got with this, because it's all grey and blue, and I just thought it just all went quite nicely. And that's from Pedro's Needle Minders, I think. But I'll link that shop down below as well, because they're on Etsy as well. And so I started that one, and I was just absolutely loving it. And because it was my first Modern Folk embroidery as well, I was like, well, if I started that one, why don't I just start the 2021 Sal as well? And so I couldn't help myself. I did, because I'd already bought the colours that I wanted to. I've discussed this back in, I want to say May last year or August. It was definitely last year. I was talking about this stitch along and how I was really struggling with the colours and like what colours I wanted to do it in. And I was thinking, what happened in 2021? Obviously a lot of stuff happened in 2021, but my husband and I got married, and so I thought, well, why don't I try and do it centered around the color scheme of the wedding, which was dark green and gold. And I was looking through, and I wanted to stitch it on 40 count because I didn't want it to be massive. And I'd started using sulky on 40 count for my Cirque de Carreau piece by Ink Circles. And so I thought, why not just try it again? Because I really, really was loving the coverage and I was loving the feel of it all. And so I bought a green floss, and then I bought this it was a white through to brown, light brown mottled variegated floss. And I was basically saying that was themed around my wedding dress, because my wedding dress wasn't white, and because of the way the day happened, it ended up getting covered in mud and sand and all this kind of stuff. Just because we couldn't, it would just ended up being a torrential weather, basically. It was just it was just a bit of a day. And so I thought I'd try this floss because I didn't want it just to be white. And so I had the floss already, so I thought, why not start it? And so this is the Fruits of Plenty 2021 Stitch Long by Modern Folk Embroidery. So I'll pop in the cover picture. And then this is where I got to. So basically just one of the top triangles to the right of that first bird in the top left-hand corner. And I'm stitching this on 40 count raw Newcastle linen. And so I have a couple of concerns. I think the white is showing up a little bit better in person, but it is blending in slightly. And then my other concern is just that the green that we had for our wedding was like a foresty green. And this is a much brighter, like more yellowy green. And so I did try another colour. It's just, you can see it's just darker. It's not really showing up that well. But this is a DMC. And so I'm debating changing that to the darker green. But then if I'm changing that to a DMC, do I want both of them to be DMC? I just don't know. So this is my start. Not as convinced with this one as the other one, but I'm really glad to have started both of them, and we will see. So those are my 2 new starts in the month. I'm really, really excited about them. They will keep me going for a very long time, but I have absolutely no regrets about starting them. Now, moving on to my works in progress. The first one I'm going to show you, I worked on at the beginning of the month and then haven't really made much progress since. This is my Cirque des Carreaux by Ink Circles, and I'll pop in a picture of what it looked like, what it will look like at the end, and then what it looked like in my whip parade. And here it is now. So you'll see I started coming up into this motif here and filling in across the top here. So a little bit of progress, but good progress. This is a motif that I miscounted before, and so I was a bit annoyed about having to redo, but thankfully it all fits in this time. This is stitched on a 40 count cream Newcastle linen with sulky floss, and I'll have to put the number of the colour because I can never remember it. But really, really chuffed with the little bit of progress I got there, because I didn't work on this project enough last year. So, yeah, just wanted to get some progress. I've also got my needle minder from Nerdy Needle Design Co., I think it's called. Because basically these are the sequence of projects that I'm doing themed around Avatar: The Last Airbender. And so this is an earth bending sign to go with the earth bending colours. So yeah, really, really love stitching on that again this month. My next project is my Peppermint Purple Study in Teal, which is an entirely blackwork design. I've been absolutely loving this piece. I'll pop in a picture of what it looks like at the end, and then where it was last time in my whip parade. I think I was still working around the outside in my whip parade, if I'm remembering correctly. And now I've got a fully finished frame, and I've started coming round on the inside here as well. I'll put the name of the needle minder company as well, because I just think it's so cute and the colours match so nice. So I've had quite a busy month at work again, and this has been such a joy to just come home and mindlessly stitch, because so I already knew how to do the motif around the frame, and so it was just completely thoughtless. You just get into the pattern and you can just absolutely power through. And then once I'd memorized or learned how to do the pattern on the inside, you can just go so fast. And I think something that is surprising me as well is that it's just not boring at all. I'm really, really enjoying the repetition. And I think because you can see it's just so effective, it's just so pretty. So yeah, absolutely loving working on that. My next project is my big full coverage Margarita Dragon. This is what it will look like when it's done. Oops, sorry, glare. So this is artwork by Stanley Morrison and it's charted by Pain Free Crafts. Oh, I forgot to say, studying teal, I'm stitching on 18 count Ada 1/1 with DMC 3747, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, sorry, back to Margarita Dragon. I'm stitching this on 18 count as well, 2/1 with all of the called for colours. I got the full kit from Pain Free Crafts originally. So I'll show you a quick picture of where I was in my whip parade as well. So I started the month with 38,691 stitches, and then this is my progress. So I've now got 39,954, so close to 40,000 stitches. Oop. And so you'll see I've started going, so not that I've changed my methods again, but I've gone back to doing proper diagonal stitching. Sorry, let me just try and manipulate this a bit. And so where I've been working is in these diagonals here. And part of my issue was this crown, I don't know. But if I zoom in, there's just so much confetti in this. And when I started doing a bit of cross country, I did a bit of diagonal, and both ways I just wasn't finishing the stitches off in here. It just wasn't getting done because it was just so much confetti. And so I thought, you know what, I'll go back to doing my 10 by 10 diagonals, and I'll make sure that all of the diagonal is finished before I move on to the next one. And so that's what I've ended up doing. And so this is where you'll see I did some of the cross country before. Because it was going round in this direction, it just felt natural to just keep doing that. But actually, it was just making it more difficult for myself. So I'm really, really chuffed. I've been able to get all of this bit filled in, and then obviously these background diagonals as well. So yeah, really, really pleased with how that's going. God, this fabric's starting to feel so heavy. I'm not even halfway done. But yeah, really, really chuffed. Absolutely love this. And so I've started stitching this fully. The reason I'm showing you this now, fully unpacked and not on my scroll bars anymore, is I've got a, I showed you last time, I've got that Nurge hoop, square hoop, which I'm able to use in my lap stand. And that has just made such a difference because I can stitch two-handed and it just goes so much quicker. So yeah, really, really pleased I moved on to the, frame and lap stand for that one because yeah, it's just making things so much better. And then my last project for this month is Crescent Dreams by Mirabilia, and bear with me 1 second, I've got the picture here. So that's that one, and I'll show you where it was in my whip parade. I think I'd had the most of the blanket done, and I'm doing this for my friend's baby who is being christened in February. And so I thought, you know what, I've really, really got to get a wriggle on. And so I got a wriggle on. I've done all the stitching and the back stitching, but I want to do a quote underneath and then have the baby's name and birthday on the top. And just the thought of because it's kind of my own, because it's a quote I've chosen, I've just got to design it and write it and then actually stitch it. So enough chatting, Sarah, come on, just show you the picture. So this is where I am. So the baby is all finished with the back stitch, and then I put the bead in here, which I now realise was a mistake because I still have to iron it, but it's fine, it's all going to be fine. But yeah, that is it technically could be a finish, but it isn't because I've not finished it. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count ether. I think that's showing up quite good actually. So it kind of goes from this blue into a pink. It's just absolutely lovely. It's a bit more purpley than it's showing up. But that is all the stitching and back stitching done. And so it is charted with some beads, and the beads are kind of all in here and then around here. But because I'm doing a back stitch quote along the bottom here and then the name up here, I don't want to put the beads in until I know I've definitely got room. And so I might just do them like at the end of the hat. There is also supposed to be a bit of ribbon falling down, but I've not been able to find that, and so it might just have to be done without it, unfortunately, but we will see. Because I'm going down to stay with my parents a couple of days before the christening, I might be able to raid my mum's stash potentially and see if she's got something. But yeah, I'm really, really chuffed with how this has come out. A couple of changes I've made from the pattern is I changed the colours in the hat to be pink, and I've also stitched the skin 1/1. So it's a little bit more detail. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Because I've just seen other people do that on Mirabilias and I think it just looks really nice. So yeah, that is all of my stitching for the month. I'm really, really chuffed actually with how much I've been able to get done, especially considering that I've been rushing to get that christening piece done and getting a lot of work on my dragon. So I'm just going to go through, if I can find where I put my notes. I'm just going to go through my goals for this month and then what I was able to actually achieve. So my first goal was to get 3,000 stitches in my Margarita Dragon, and I think I've ended up on about 1,300. So not even half, but it's fine. 3,000 stitches is reaching anyway, and I think I really, really love stitching it, but there are sometimes it just feels like quite an intense process. And if I don't have very much time, which I haven't because work has been quite busy, then it just feels a little bit of an effort. And so I think I just need to push through that and realise it isn't an effort, and I actually really do enjoy stitching on it, and that will encourage me to get a few more stitches in. My next goal was to start the Reaching Skyward MFE 2023 style, which I've done. I also wanted to finish Crescent Dreams, and technically I've finished it. I just need to add in my extra stuff now. And I'm hoping, because it's like I say, it's the 29th today, so if I can focus on that this evening, then I might be able to get, I've already drawn up the quote. And so I might be able to get something, I might be able to get it stitched in there, because I don't think it should take me too long, hopefully. My other two goals were to start a couple of things, and so I'm not really fussed that I haven't met them, because I did want to get an Advent Animal done, and I did want to start my Perennial Pinwheels Winter, but I'm very happy for that to wait, and my Advent Animal will be done. It will be fine. I'll do that another month. I'll probably push that back into February. So yeah, my goals for February is another 300 stitches in my dragon. 2,000 stitches in my Cirque des Carreaux, which is a joint January and February. So I just need to focus on that a few more days, and I think I can get that done. And then to fully finish Crescent Dreams as well, which has to be done because of the christening. So I feel like, yeah, I'll just see how I go with all of those. Like I say, I am really, really, really enjoying this diary. It's got some notes as well as what went well and what didn't go well in January. So I need to have a bit of a self-reflection and see if I need to change anything that I'm doing personally, just to kind of enable myself to stitch a little bit more. Something I will say as well is I've been really keen. So I'm quite a big reader, but last year I just didn't focus on it at all. I think work's been quite overwhelming. Life in general was a bit overwhelming, and so reading wasn't a priority. But I want to change that for this year and make it more of a priority. And so I'm quite pleased with myself because I've already read 2 books in January, and I've started 2 more. And I think that obviously does, because I've struggled with audiobooks, if I'm honest. And so I like to read physical books, or Kindle or paperbacks, whatever. So that does take away from stitching a little bit, but I don't mind. It's not, I say it takes away from stitching, they're all hobbies, so it's more like that was the choice on the day. This week as well, I haven't really stitched very much because I found out there was an expansion pack to Breath of the Wild, which is a Nintendo Switch game, like a Link and Zelda Nintendo Switch game. And so all of my spare time has been consumed by Link and Zelda. Once again, I've played through Breath of the Wild like 3 times. And I've just found this expansion where you just get loads of extra stuff. So figured I'd replay it again. So time has been taken away by that slightly as well. But like I say, taken away, but it's more just fancied doing something a bit different. So it has been, I do feel like it's been a good month. I feel like I've been able to get lots done, both like personally, professionally, and like within my hobbies and stuff. So yeah, it's been quite a positive start to the year, I feel. Something else I just wanted to do quickly, because I've not done it for ages and I feel a bit guilty, is some shout outs, because obviously end of the year is whip parade season, and so I've been watching a lot of new people. So a couple of people I just wanted to shout out are Brijin, who is the museum stitcher on YouTube and Instagram. Found her whip parade. I think it's because Julie, who is Kansas City girl in the Colorado world, shared her whip parade, and so I gave it a try and just absolutely fell in love. So the projects that Brijin does are absolutely amazing, and I think some of her colour conversions are really, really fantastic. So really, really enjoy seeing her updates and seeing all of her projects. Another person also recommended by Julie is Megan, who is the Seattle Stitcher, and she's Megan Babauta on Instagram. Again, really, really love her projects. I think she's quite newer to stitching, I think since 2020, if I remember right. But I really, really like all of her projects as well. So really been enjoying those, their two update videos. They're also friends, and so they talk about each other quite a lot, and it's just quite entertaining to watch. The last person I did want to shout out was the designer of this journal. So Stitching Cabin is run by a woman named Hayley, and she started her own personal YouTube channel. I think she did a couple of videos before, but she's relaunched it essentially. And she's also launched a new personal Instagram page as well called Hayley Stitching Cabin. And I really, really enjoy her YouTube videos. She does quite a few projects in the style that I've not seen before. So she's doing a gold work project at the moment, which just looks absolutely incredible. She's also doing an embroidery from one of her own pictures, and I just think she's just so clever. It looks absolutely amazing. So I'd really recommend seeing her channel, because she's got a big variety of projects, and they're all absolutely stunning. She is also a designer, and she's done, in the background of her video, she has her Nordic band sampler, which is her winter band sampler, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And the more I watch her videos, the more I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god. So yeah, really, I think, and she's doing her autumn band sampler at the moment, and it's a mystery stitch along released line by line every month, and it just looks fantastic. I really, really like her designs, but highly recommend that you check out her YouTube channel as well, because she's been really, really good to watch. The last section I'm going to do in this video is one I did once before at the end of last year, and I'm going to keep it in. It's cool. It's my section, If I Had a Million Hours, sang to the tune of the Bare Naked Lady song. And this month it's dedicated to Autumn Lane Stitchery, simply because I love all of their patterns. I have not stitched a single one of them, and I don't know how, because I've had like 5 of them saved in my Instagram collections folder for absolutely ages. They're doing their release of Dark Queen of the Earth Sal at the moment, and it's shaping up to look incredible. I loved following along with their Dark Queen of the Sea, and seeing all of the modifications that people did and all the modifications that they offered. I thought she looked absolutely incredible, and so I cannot wait. I think I will never do a mystery stitch along ever again, because I just can't commit the time to a pattern that I don't know that I'm going to like at the end. But I am loving seeing their monthly releases of the Dark Queen of the Earth Sal, and I loved seeing it for Dark Queen of the Sea as well. I really, really hope to stitch them at some point in my life, because I really, really like them. I also love their, I think it's called Autumn Town piece as well. I just think it's just absolutely cool. I love the colours. I love the use of the negative space. I just think it's absolutely stunning. And they have a few Halloween style pieces as well. Like, I think the collectors blew up quite a bit on Instagram, because it's so perfectly spooky. And just, yeah, I just really, really love them as designers, and specifically, yeah, those 3 pieces in particular, I just absolutely love. And so I just wanted to mention as a piece that I will, if I ever get to stitch it, I'll be lucky, basically. But yeah, that's just wanted to shout them out. So that is my update for the month of January. I really hope you like what you've seen. I've really enjoyed my stitching this month. Sorry, I should have turned the light on like half an hour ago. I hope I've not been too like fluorescent yellow or anything. But anyway, yes, I've really enjoyed my stitching this month. I'm really looking forward to getting more progress on Margarita Dragon next month. I think I want that to be my focus piece because I just absolutely love it and I can't wait for it to grow more, especially because I'm more back into the body of the dragon and the big wings, so really want to make some good progress. I hope that you all have a really good February and I will catch up with you again in a month's time. Bye!